Julian starts this journal entry on a high. For once, things actually feel good. Something has entered his life that brings him a new kind of love, a new kind of energy, and you can feel it right from the beginning of the entry. Welcome back to the 20th reading in the Wherefore Art Thou Journals series. If you are new here, every Thursday we explore selected passages from Romeo and Julian's private journals, the entries that were never meant for anyone else to read. Before we dive in, if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can follow the journey each week. And don't miss our Monday shorts where I share sneak previews and behind the scenes insights into the story. Now, this entry is a bit all over the place for Julian. There's a lot happening emotionally. And like always, we're not reading the full entry here, just a portion of it. There are entire moments, entire layers of the story that are only found in the book. So there's still plenty waiting for readers beyond these readings. But one thing is clear right away. Julian feels lighter, happier, and yet there's still something sitting just beneath the surface. Something he's waiting for. So let's step into the entry and see what that is.
Saturday, March 25th, 2023. Entry by Julian. Oh my god. I want a dog. It has to be a golden retriever. Oh, if only I could kidnap Coco and keep her forever. What an angel that girl is. I absolutely love her. Man's best friend indeed. It was such a surprise on Tuesday when Romeo showed up with this beautiful dog. At first, I didn't even realize it was him. For a moment, I wondered if he had a dog this entire time, just never told me. All I cared about, though, was petting Coco right away. I still can't get over that day. The only word to describe it is magical. It felt like a glimpse into the future. Like what life could be with Romeo. A dog as a starting point, and one day, maybe kids. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but everything with him feels so right. The real question, though, is when he's finally going to kiss me. It's been 2 months and still nothing. I know he likes me. He keeps spending time with me. Yes, he did say he wants to take things slow, but it's just a kiss. We've talked about wanting it to be memorable, but Tuesday with Coco was perfect. What could possibly be better than that? It was such a happy, picture-perfect moment. I mean, we even took a picture. I can almost hear Romeo's voice now. Relax. Patience. It felt weird yesterday not going for my usual Friday swim, but we're off school this week. The week flew by so quickly. I mean, Tuesday was practically an all-day date with Romeo and Coco. I really hope I get to see Coco again, and that it wasn't just a one-off. I love that dog so much, and we only spent half a day together. Honestly, I'm not sure who I've been thinking more about since Tuesday, Romeo or Coco. Romeo said I might get to see her again tomorrow, but it depends on whether his friend and their family have to go out of town. I'll find out in the morning. The waiting is torture. Patience is not my strong suit. Romeo ended up being pretty busy for the rest of the week, so we didn't see much of each other. I wish I could have gotten out of the house more to be with him. Dad's been in full-on terror mode, coming home every day to complain about work, supply issues, deadlines, and the same broken record nonsense. But everything changed yesterday when I came home briefly to grab something. As I walked in, I heard Dad in the kitchen. At first, I assumed it was more complaining, but this time, he actually sounded happy. Curious, I stepped into the kitchen and found him talking to Mom. Apparently, he's managed to score another contract with Eska's dad for a new building. So it's official. I already thought it was, but whatever. Now we're having a party next Saturday to celebrate. Oh joy. Another one of his backyard parties where I'm forced to play the Happy Family Act. I seriously can't stand those. Romeo and I texted a lot over the past few days whenever we could. He's been helping one of his media classmates with a short film. I'll admit, I got a little down on Wednesday and Thursday. I thought about journaling, but ended up staying in bed all day Wednesday. On Thursday, I finally went for a walk, which helped a bit, but life still felt heavy. I think my impatience with Romeo isn't helping. Everything has been going so well, and it almost feels like I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Maybe it's because I thought I'd see him more this week. Normally with school, I at least know he's nearby, and that brings me so much comfort. I need to focus on appreciating Tuesday for what it was. Days like that can happen again. I just have to believe they will. After my walk, I was feeling a little better. Luckily, Dad and Tyler were at work most of the week, so I didn't have to deal with them much. Mom was around somewhere, though I barely saw her, especially after Dad announced the party. She immediately went into organizing mode. By Thursday night, JJ came to my rescue. She showed up and told my parents she needed to borrow me for the night. Dad practically shoved me out the door. That turned into the perfect excuse to stay at JJ's for a few days. I'm still here, actually. Every time I send Romeo a selfie, he teases me, asking if I'm in my second bedroom. He knows exactly where I am. He sent me a selfie from the set of his classmate's short film. I asked what he was doing, and apparently it's a bit of everything. Camera work, moving lights, and eventually editing the whole thing. When I walked into JJ's house, I could hear music playing. Pretty normal for her place. I called out and she shouted, "In here!" from the kitchen. When I stepped in, I found her with Maya. Not unusual, but the scene definitely was. JJ's iPad was on the kitchen island, and there was stuff everywhere. It looked like they were in the middle of a chaotic baking adventure. The two of them were moving around like contestants on some kind of cooking show. Their frantic back and forth communication was hilarious. It took me a solid 5 minutes to figure out what they were doing. Turns out, Maya's family is throwing a birthday party for her mom, and they put Maya in charge of the cake. She promised to bake one, even though no one in her family had ever seen her bake anything. That's when she called JJ in for backup. Good thing JJ has picked up some solid baking skills from her mom over the years. It was absolute chaos in the kitchen, but somehow they seemed to be pulling it off. The first words out of my mouth when they explained what was going on were, "How can I help?" The smiles on both their faces said everything. It was clear they were having fun, but it also looked like this cake project was definitely a lot of work. Maya has a pretty big family, so there's that. Plus, she's never one to plan something simple. It's always elaborate. Honestly, it's no surprise she and JJ are such good friends. The cake-making adventure turned into an all-night affair. Maya had already planned to stay over, so it worked out. Despite the chaos, it was so much fun. The cake came together beautifully, but the real problem was that all three of us wanted to eat it. Thankfully, I was tasked with using the leftover batter to make a smaller cake just for us. While JJ still had food for my aunt, we decided to save that for later and ended up ordering a pizza instead. The only catch was that the main cake had to stay at JJ's until Maya needed it until today. I was recruited to help transport it safely to her house this morning. I'm proud to report it arrived undamaged. Can I say the same for after JJ and I left? Probably not. We did the final touches on the cake Friday morning, letting it cool overnight first. JJ, being the smart one, wrapped it up to keep it from drying out, or at least that's what I assumed. I'm no master baker, so what do I know? That night we had a full-blown movie marathon, complete with every snack we could find. Popcorn, chips, ice cream sandwiches, candy, you name it. By the time we were ready for bed, we all had stomach aches, but it was worth it. Of course, I couldn't resist sending Romeo a selfie. His response? Don't eat too much. Too late. By then, the stomachache was already kicking in. He told me he'd check on me later once he was done with the short film for the night. Before we knew it, it was midnight. JJ and Maya wanted to stay up for another movie, but I was done. Once I decided to go to bed, they gave up on the idea and followed suit. As I was walking to my room at JJ's, I got a text. It was Romeo, asking if I was still awake. I said yes, and moments later my phone started ringing. It was a FaceTime call.
And that's where we'll pause for tonight. Julian is in love with a dog, yes, but also very much with Romeo. At the same time, he's struggling with something very real, the limited time they had together during their week off. It never quite feels like enough, but even with that, he supports Romeo fully, especially with everything going on in his media class. That balance is important, but what makes this entry really interesting is just how many emotions Julian is juggling at once. He's thinking about getting a dog. He's waiting for that first kiss from Romeo. And now, there's news of a party happening in his family's backyard. And that party is not just any party, it's that party. If you're familiar with Romeo and Juliet, you already know how important a party can be to the story. And this one is about to change everything. Despite everything going on, Julian still finds moments of peace. Missing his usual swim gives him a chance to get out of the house with JJ, and unexpectedly, Maya joins them as well. What follows is something simple, but meaningful. Making a cake, a movie marathon, a quiet night that feels safe. It's the calm before the storm. If you're enjoying watching Julian's world slowly open up and seeing these emotional layers build, take a second to like the video. It really helps this series reach new readers. And if you want to follow Romeo and Julian's journey as it unfolds, one entry at a time, make sure you are subscribed. And let me know in the comments, what moment do you think changes everything in a love story? The first meeting or the first kiss? And if you want the full story, including everything I don't read here, You can order Wherefore Art Thou Journals Volume 1 through the links in the description or at romeoandjulian.com. Until next Thursday, keep your heart open, your journal close, and your story unfolding.